I have a troubled relationship with watercolour florals, a sort of love-hate relationship. It's so easy to get that balance between soft and crisp edges wrong. It's so easy to fall into the trap of making everything look too stiff. So when Paul Rubens reached out to announce they had created a palette specifically for this purpose, I thought, can I finally master painting flowers in watercolour, and what tips can I give you along the way? Hi, I'm Fiona. Welcome to Drawings in a Drawer. Don't forget to click that notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my weekly uploads. And now join me while we try to crack the code of floral painting with a beautiful medium of aquarelle. I did not doubt for 1 second these paints would be high quality, as I personally think that Paul Rubens have refined the way they create their paints over the past years to match that of other big watercolour brands out there. What I found interesting were the colours which came in this palette and are specifically intended for painting florals: lavender, peach light, rose red, turquoise light, Chinese red, which is one of my favourite reds ever. There is no black, which also seems to make sense. This is clearly a palette intended to emulate the variety and beauty of a glorious bouquet. I rarely paint florals alone, but I do love incorporating them into my watercolour portraits, so mind me not while I paint this girl. The floral elements will be coming later on, but I will start talking about my process and my understanding of painting this subject in watercolour. I feel there are two approaches. One is more photorealistic. I'm sure you will have seen them. Some beautiful work in this style can be seen in Australian artist Louise Damazi's work. You can find her here on YouTube. She works transparent layer upon transparent layer, allowing the tones to build up gradually and becoming more intense where petals overlap, alternating between softness, or what we could call lost edges, and crisp, very defined outlines in some areas with a wet on dry technique. The result is so realistic you can almost smell the sweet scent of her roses. The other way to paint florals is the expressive way, more messy, let's say, which is mostly done keeping your paint wet layer upon layer and allowing it to spread and move around on your paper. More than creating photorealistic flowers, you are creating the impression of them. So guess which approach I use? Yeah, you might have guessed it's the second one. However, in both cases, it is key not to make things look too stiff. That has happened to me countless times in the desperate attempt to make my botanicals look, well, more like flowers. I would keep going till they looked overworked and lost all the natural bounce, transparency and softness of floral elements. If you want to paint photorealistic flowers, if you feel that's your thing, I think in most cases that's because it is your favourite subject, just like mine are expressive portraits. It means you are prepared to put the effort, the work in. It also means photorealism is your favourite style, and that kind of approach requires an immense amount of precision and also being able to strike the right drying time, when to let things spread and when to go in with fine brushwork, which is a situation when my hand gets really shaky, as if I had an audience of thousands and thousands watching me and judging me, which always ends up making me feel like my brush has developed a quiver of its own. Let me know if you resonate with that. It is a beautiful process once you have learnt to embrace it, but embracing expressive watercolour floral painting can be just as challenging at times, because it means you have to trust watercolour. You have to fall backwards into it and hope, possibly know, that it will be there to catch you, that it won't let you fall. This is done through acceptance. And this is exactly what dawned on me while I was painting with this inspiring palette of colours. I thought, let it happen, let's see where this will take me. It's just paper, it's just a sketchbook. It's not the end of the world if I don't end up with, the best floral painting in the world, or just something that I like. In fact, I will have learned something. There is always something to take away from making a mistake or from messing up. Here we are at last. The minute I put down that lavender, I was filled with a sense of dread and hesitation. I immediately sensed I was going too stiff, trying to recreate the shape of the petals, trying to understand and make sense of the way the creases unfolded in the flower. So my advice to you is to not stop if you are dissatisfied with the first element you paint, but to just consider it a warm-up exercise, because that's what it is. Don't try to recuperate to get it to look more like a flower. Turn the experience into a sort of flux of consciousness and allow things to unravel on their own. Allow greens and yellows to spread, as petals will naturally show the reflection of what is surrounding them, so it won't look wrong. Don't think there's a wrong in this kind of expressive painting of watercolour flowers. That kind of mind frame will stop you in your tracks. Watercolour is just pigment and water, so become the river, become the natural and organic movement of this medium, and let it guide you through ups and downs. And with every few steps you take, you will discover something new. Play with negative painting when you are painting a light flower, for example, which means paint the outline of the flower rather than its main body. Expressive floral painting is really something magical that will very often happen on its own because of the very nature of this medium, because of granulation and different drying times of your layers, creating natural looking effects you can find in nature all around you. A few months ago, we had a botanical theme month with my amazing art community online, and we were in awe of the results we could achieve once we let watercolour take our hands and go for a stroll with it. I hope I don't sound too crazy when I say this. And by the way, if you'd like to join us for monthly painting and drawing sessions, both live and recorded, so it's suitable for those of you who'd like company and as well for those of you who just want guidance and paint at their own pace. I will leave all the information in the description box below this video, because the more, the merrier, right? Experiment with different drying times and drop thicker mixtures into areas where there might be more shadow, or you will create the idea of shadow just by doing that. Splatter paint by tapping your brush handle or flicking your brush towards the paper, and if you love it, you will find immense joy in starting or continuing your watercolour journey, almost as a form of active meditation. I loved playing around with these Paul Rubens paints, and starting Monday, July 14th, you will find discount links to purchase them in the description box below this video. Now more than ever is a time to embrace the spiritual, the artistic, and the connection we can create throughout the world through practices like this one or similar to this one. I believe in this with all my heart. And that is all from me for today. Thank you so much if you're still watching. I will see you all next Sunday. Keep smiling. Bye for now.